All right. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Sam.
Today is March 24th and about 10:45 a.m.
Yep.
Eastern time. Just finished watching the Basho. It was a good one. It was a very good one.
It was an insane one,
I
actually.
know, like we always say, the Bashos go by quickly. This one,
They do.
this one actually felt like it dragged because I was just so excited for like to see Takeru Fuji the next day. So I'd watch the Basho like on my phone on the bus going into work, and then I'd be like thinking about like, oh, I just want to watch, like I just need to see how it plays out. I need to see what happens. And so because of that, this last week felt like it went on forever.
I agreed. It was a nail biter. I mean, just like obviously an incredible performance by him.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I don't have the stat in front of me. Maybe you could pull it up. But the last time that like a top division, a new person, newcomer to the top division won, I think it's been a while.
Yeah, well, this is the first time in the modern era. The last time it
Right.
happened was when they only had two Bashos a year, and it was like 7 or 9 fights per Basho, and it was
Oh,
Ryu Goku in May 1914. So,
wait,
yeah,
really?
the last time a debutant won their Makuuchi debut was 110 years ago. So,
I didn't realize it was that.
yeah,
That's
World
insane.
War One hadn't happened yet. Russia was still
Big
ruled
deal.
by an emperor, so we didn't have 50 states. I don't know how many states we had at the
Hmm.
time, but it definitely wasn't 50.
Hmm.
Um,
You sure about
I
that?
don't have those stats on me right now.
Let's get into the
Yes.
statehood. Like,
So
let's
we're
dig in
gonna,
on the statehood.
instead of talking about sumo, we're gonna talk about dates of when states joined.
I mean, that's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
big deal, and I think even more than that, like you could, to me, like it just shows like the sumo wrestlers like the control they have over their emotions and stuff. Because even when he won today, he let out this like little
Yeah, it was
smile,
such a wholesome
but you could
smile.
also, it was so wholesome, but you could also see he was like fighting it
Yeah.
too. Like, he just wanted to be like, ah, and, like freak out, but like instead he just kind of does this
Hmm.
little tiny half smile and then like goes into his thing, his routine, and walks out and is like totally composed. And it's just like,
Which just
it's insane
which just
that
like
you can
endeared,
have that
which
control.
I know just endears him to like the populate, or like just like the fans as well, like the fan base and the crowd. Like they all loved like just his like, yeah, his little smile and that he won, and they're just like just so happy to see history made. But
Amazing.
yeah, that he kept himself composed. So yeah, he really did fantastic. And we were, because you're on a trip right now, hence the change in
I
background.
am.
Um,
I'm in Japan,
yeah.
actually, right? Oh, don't worry about that. That's nothing. That's nothing.
And so that's why we don't have a drink. It's not because it's 10:45 a.m. and I've got a bunch of chores to do afterwards.
No,
I was
no,
fully
it has nothing
ready.
to do
I
with
was
that.
fully ready to neck a gin and tonic at
Yep.
10:45 in the morning. But that's okay. We'll double up next time.
Yeah, well, a quick reminder. We have a very important episode coming out next time,
Hmm.
hopefully in the next week. We have our New Jersey World Sumo Show video that is our first vlog that will be coming out, and we're very excited to share it with the channel because
Hmm.
it's a very exciting special episode. So
Yeah.
that one we will definitely have we do have a drink in that video, but probably
Yeah.
not the drink you're expecting.
Nope.
Stay tuned.
Okay. So getting back to the Boss show, then you want to talk about some breakout performers besides the obvious Takeru Fuji. Who do you want to
Yeah.
mention?
So I think it was interesting. I think, we saw a lot of the big guys that normally do well. I mean, and I want to talk about some of that too, but I think there were a couple standout, interesting kind of performances that deserve a quick mention.
Hmm.
And I would start with, to me, Keen Bozan, actually. I thought his performance was really interesting because he basically came out, didn't do he did kind of like decently, got injured about halfway through the boss show. We talked about it a little bit last
Hmm.
time, I think, but then
Yeah.
he came back and I think he won four in a row,
Yeah.
um, somewhere around there, and with a sprained neck. And I think like it's just so rare to see a Rikishi just come back from an injury mid boss show. We just don't really see that often, and
Hmm.
especially if they do, they usually don't do that well. So to me, I just love seeing those kind of moments. Even though he didn't end with a great record in his last fight today, he walked away looking pretty injured. He actually kind of I think he kind of stepped out of the fight, basically. Like he kind of gave up because of his injury. So he's injured, but it's just like that's the kind of stuff that just blows me away when you see these guys that just can push through like neck injuries and not only push through but also like win. So to me, that was one
Yeah,
that caught me.
no, definitely. That's yeah, he sprained his neck, which just sounds really painful. So I like
Yeah,
when I think of like a neck sprain, I think I'm not going to be able to get out of bed for days. And
yeah.
for him
He's
to,
like, put some tape on it.
yeah,
You're
just
fine.
put some of the KT tape on it and you'll be fine. But not only like get out of bed, but to come in and like push around the largest human beings on earth shows his strength and tenacity, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. And then the other two I wanted to flag really quick that I just thought were awesome was Takayasu.
Mm-hmm.
He ended with, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 and
11 and
4,
4.
I think.
11 and 4.
11
Yeah.
and 4, 11 and 4, which like again, coming back from some injuries, he's had a lot of ups and downs. I still hold it. He's one of my favorites when he's on and he's not injured and he's going. I think he's such a powerful dude.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him, this is kind of the first time in a while that he's kind of come back and done like a really good, really solid run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he's definitely worth noting, and if he can keep injury free, one to keep an eye on. And then the other one was Asanoyama too.
Mm,
I
okay.
mean, he also had a really good run. He beat some of the big guys. He beat he's the one who beat Takara Fuji yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he beat Takara Fuji yesterday. And again, just like someone that like we don't really talk about too much on this
Mm-hmm.
channel, I think, but just like had composure, had a great winning record, and I think is also one to really keep an eye on in the future, moving forward. And again, like not one of like the ones that we talk about the most, but a really impressive performance. So those are kind of my three, like I
Okay.
think people that surprised me this season.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I guess a couple others who maybe jumped out at me in their performances. Katona Waka kind of surprised me. I thought he would do better. And the yeah, I mean 10-5 is still a good
It's still good, but
record.
but
But yeah, losing to Takeru Fuji. I mean, it was Takeru Fuji really showed his what's what I'm looking for here adaptability because up
yeah,
until that fight, Takeru Fuji has been blasting everyone out. So
yeah, hundred
they
percent.
moved around, traded grips a bit. So I once Katona Waka withstood Takeru Fuji's initial charge, I thought, okay, Katona Waka's got this. Like he's faced way bigger and better. Well, maybe not better now that we've seen what Takeru Fuji can do, but he's
Yeah.
faced some very good guys and has gone back and won those after pushing him around because he's such a big, strong dude. And then lost to Takakeisho and lost to Kirishima today. So
Right.
and he beat Hoshoyu yesterday. So
He did indeed.
yeah, that was a good fight. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was.
I mean, so he was right there. He was in the running. I think in the last our midway
He
episode,
was.
I thought he was going to be the one to take it. I thought he was going to win it. So, but
But it is something to mention what we talked about before about the Ozeki curse kind of. This is his first run as Ozeki, and I mean ending with 10-5 is really good and better than a lot of people's first
absolutely,
Ozeki runs. So
absolutely.
I agree though. I wanted to see more out of him, but at the same time I think he held strong and didn't get injured and had some really good fights.
Yep. And then Takakeisho out today. He got the Kachikoshi and then bowed out, dealing with an injury. So
Yeah.
hopefully he keeps his Ozeki rank. Hopefully he can recover by the next boss
So
show.
maybe you can answer this
Mm-hmm.
question. Do you lose Ozeki rank if you don't get a winning record?
You can. It's you need to lose multiple in a row.
Multiple in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do they call it? Katoban. That's not the word. It's a word like that. Katoban
Hmm.
for in Japanese it means like in a corner, kind of like in a bind in a bad position. And so
Okay.
basically, so I believe Takakeisho was
Mm.
he was Katoban. He was about to hit that because
Okay. So he's probably in it now then.
Yeah, so he finished. No, he finished 8-7. So
Oh, right.
because last Basho he only won two, and then he was 2-2, and then he was out the rest of the Basho. So he had 11.
Got it.
So he had like 13 losses total. If he had a
Yeah.
losing record this Basho, he would have lost rank. But because he
Right.
finishes 8-7, he keeps he keeps it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I mean, we'll see with Kirishima too. I mean,
Hmm.
like just horribly disappointing Basho for him, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
5-10.
Um,
Strong
I
fight
mean,
today
that's
against Katona Waka.
I know
Holy
out of
cow!
nowhere in the last day he comes in and does a great fight, but man, I mean, he ain't gonna be happy about this Basho, and I'm
No,
sure he's gonna be reassessing a lot of things
yeah.
going into May.
Um, on the well, another wrestler who did well, maybe not as well as he would have liked, Hoshoyu,
Hmm.
finishing 11-4. I'll bet he would love to. I bet he'd love to have that fight against Ura or Midori Fuji back.
Oh, I know, isn't that funny?
Yeah,
But on the flip side, he's the only person to beat both of the newcomers who had
yeah,
breakout seasons.
yeah.
So,
And man, today his fight against Onosato. What blew me today? It's a very minor thing, but his balance. If you go and watch
oh, yeah.
when they're at the side, usually when they're in that position, they're in the position they're both on one leg and the other leg is way high up in the air. It just
Oh
turns
yeah.
into like a falling competition of who's gonna hit
No,
the ground
right,
first. And
right.
so that's what I thought was gonna happen. But then Hoshoyu just lets him go. And at this point his shoulders are below his hips. So he is like
Yeah,
his balance should be like going into the ground. His face should be hitting the clay. But he swings his other leg around and just like pops right back up while Onosato goes down. And
incredible.
it's just incredible. I mean, that's his throwing background from Bok Mongolian wrestling of that's a very
Yeah,
strong. It's
definitely
all about
his
throwing,
signature style.
but just I it doesn't make sense. The physics of it don't make sense to me when all of his weight was going forward and he somehow just like swings and pops up. It
I was thinking the exact same thing. The athleticism on it was just incredible. And it's just he's got to feel good, even though he probably didn't get the record he wanted. It's got to feel good to be the one who can kind of be like, you all couldn't beat the new boys, but
mm-hmm.
but I could. That's
Yep.
got to feel good for him. So I'm sure he has the bragging rights on that one to an
Yeah.
extent.
And I mean, Onosato gets 11-4 for the second Basho in a row.
Incredible. Like let's not
Um,
discount that. I know he
no,
didn't win, but that's insane.
no, 23 years old and just
Yep.
did incredible today throughout the whole Basho, I should say.
Yeah.
He didn't really have any stinker losses. Like everyone he lost to, it was a good fight.
Agreed.
So yeah, great.
I think it was interesting. He did show a little bit more emotion, which I thought
Hmm.
was funny. And it's funny that in sumo that you have to pick out these tiny little moments of emotion because you get so little emotion out of people.
Hmm.
But there were a couple ones where I think when he lost, I can't remember what day it was, a couple days ago, he like lost his first match. He like looked like he was about to start crying, and he really kind of like had this emotion and stuff. And it's interesting how so many people fight against that, obviously,
Hmm.
and then to kind of see these kind of younger guys kind of unable to suppress the feelings a
Hmm.
little bit is always an interesting thing today
Well, it's yeah,
to
it's because
see.
they're young. They're not quite as veteran experience, and what I mean by that is it's literally like the first time that they have felt like these emotions at this high level. Whereas
It's true.
you get some of
Yeah.
these other Ozeki or older guys, Yokozuna, who they've been in this whatever position they're in, they've probably been there before. So they've dealt with it before, and it's just like, okay, just reset, reload for tomorrow. With a lot of these young guys, it could be the first time they've ever come into a position where, okay, I could really win this thing, or
Yeah. No,
okay,
it's
he's
true.
like, okay, no, I've just lost it. Like I almost had it. So yeah, it's the first time they've like dealt with that. But Onosato did very well. Finished. He received the Fighting Spirit Prize and the Technique Prize, the Kanto Show and Gino Show. So
Very impressive.
very impressive for him. Takeru Fuji was awarded all three prizes. So he got a sweep, outstanding performance award, the the Fighting Spirit Prize, and the Technique Prize, and that's the first time there's been a
Incredible.
sweep of those three since 2000. So first time in 24 years that someone's received all three prizes in a
Wow.
basho. So it just goes to show really how historic this basho was uh, for sumo for us for the fans to watch. So yeah, it was a great time.
Incredible. I mean,
Hmm.
I obviously we have to briefly, I mean, briefly talk Takara Fuji on yesterday, second to last day, walked away with a bit of an
Mm-hmm.
injury. He, I think I haven't read into it. It looked like an ankle or something like that,
Yeah.
perhaps. He has a bandage on his ankle, so I'm guessing it's around there. But he pretty much was slow to get up, lost the fight, and then kind of, I mean, I thought they were gonna have to bring in a wheelchair. You saw his kind of
Mm-hmm.
handler kind of motion towards the back for a minute,
Yep.
and I thought they were gonna have to bring in a wheelchair for him. So he was definitely injured. Obviously, there's no way he wasn't in pain today, based off of where he was literally
Yeah.
yesterday. So just to see him come up and push through that, he was probably pushing through something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be interesting. It didn't seem like it was obviously bad enough to stop him from fighting. So it'll be interesting to see in 2 months. I'm sure he's going to be focusing a lot on that. So see kind of where he comes back to in 2 months when
Yeah,
when he comes back.
absolutely. And I mean, we talked a little bit about it, like texting between it about kind of like, oh, what'll happen if even if he stayed out, there's still a possibility for him to win if Hoshoyu
Yeah,
won.
which is crazy.
But of course, like you don't want to take, you're like, well, I don't want to win. I don't want to win based on somebody else losing. You don't
Yeah,
want to take that gamble. So, yeah, it came in. I mean, probably just got like a Novocaine shot to the foot so he couldn't even feel his ankle. Um,
I believe it.
and
Yeah.
then if you watch against the fight against Gonayama, he seemed to kind of keep the weight off that ankle as much. I mean, as much
Yes.
as you can when it's a sport about pushing. Um,
Right. He also, that fight was not a predestined fight like some of
no,
his previous fights. It was
no.
actually pretty damn close. And Gono Yama, who also had a great bout show,
Hmm.
really held his own there. So that was cool to kind of see. It's always good to see like an exciting final match, and that isn't just like a blowout or a henka or something. So
Yeah, it was good, and I think maybe people like, oh, maybe because he's injured, he'll Hanka or try to, won't hit the Tachi guy too hard, and so maybe go for like use his momentum for a throw or something, or use
he,
Goniyama's
he
momentum
went
for.
in.
No, he went after him. Maybe caught
That
Goniyama
was
off
impressive.
guard, but yeah, did very well. Yeah, overall very very excited about
Incredible
Basho.
work. Incredible work, those men.
Those yes, correct. How the rest of Sanyaku fared, we talked a bit about um, a lot of them. We talked about all the Ozeki uh, and Sekiwaki. Wakamoto Haru finished 9-6. That's good. Good,
Yeah,
good
solid.
basho for him. Did well. Uh, Slow start though. I think he started like it was like 2-4, or no. At one point he was okay 5-5. So he
Hmm.
bounced back. But
He did, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was not. He had to work for it.
Daisho finished with a losing record. Um, Unfortunately, the first time in over a year. And of course, it's right after I hype
Wow.
him up and I draft him in my fantasy team. So, Daisho, I'm sorry that I cursed
However,
you.
Shodai on the final day comes back and gets his winning record. So my wild card pick
Got you a
comes
point.
back and actually had a decent run. He had some good fights. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, right there, I think, yeah, right just over the winning record.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun to see when you make that wild card pick to see someone doesn't get totally blown out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Abi finished 9-6, so your boy did well.
Super strong start to the match for him,
Yeah.
Basho for him. Kind
Um,
of fell off a little bit, but incredible first initial run there.
yeah, no, he did well. I mean, he was one of the people who, I mean, he was West M2 last boss show, barely got 8-7. Well, I shouldn't say barely. He won 8-7, so he moved up in Sanyaku ranks. So part we talked to the Bonsuke Madness was like, okay, how's he going to handle it? He did well. The other Komusubi, however, Nishikigi did not. He was
No,
Maegashira 5, 8-7, and moved up to the Sanyaku ranks and went 3-12. So he
a
was one of the,
real rough one for
yeah,
him.
we talked about him saying, okay, he has an opportunity here to do really well, or to stay in Sanyaku and try to establish himself there. But yeah, 3-12,
It
not a
did
strong
not
finish for
pan
him.
out. Did not pan out. I mean, like, it's always hard for these things because you have to kind of like you start thinking like, how can that happen?
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the reality of when you have this kind of competitive nature and this many people in a game is you're always gonna have that a couple wrestlers who just have total blowout seasons.
Yeah.
It's just like it just has to happen. So like mathematically,
Mm-hmm.
it has to happen. So
Yep.
I think it's just like his number was up, unfortunately, for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Others, your the fan favorite Ura finished 6-9, but that doesn't quite give the full story. Even though he had a losing record, he was always exciting to watch. I mean, what?
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, never a dull moment with Ura. I mean, his was it the loss yesterday where he went against he went like rolling, or it was either yesterday or the day before, where literally he just did like two rolls in a row, like out of
He did
the.
a full flip
It
out
might
of
have
the
been against like
yo-yo.
Toby Zaru, where
Yeah.
he goes down, but instead of how he just like kept rolling out.
Just like straight up the stairs and like out of the building.
It cues the what's the meme, like the bow 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 na now.
Yeah,
What's that
yeah.
song?
I know you're talking
It's
about.
just like it's like them going through like the stars, going through like underwater. Somebody should do that. Um, but I mean, Osaka. He's from Osaka. You know, we've been.
Yeah, the crowd was going wild
Yeah,
for
I
him.
mean, it matches that this Basho was so crazy because Osaka's crazy. You know, it's the
Yeah.
New Orleans of Japan. People say that.
Some might say.
Maybe I
But even
don't.
that, even in general, the crowd, I mean, like they were like so much more screaming and,
Yeah.
and like unhinged screaming than normal. And I love that
Hmm.
because I mean, it's
Well,
hilarious.
unhinged
It's
by
always cool
Japanese
to see people.
standards.
Of course, yes, of course. So very like normal and subdued.
Okay, shall we get
But
into our fantasy
the
point?
brackets,
Yeah. All right.
let's get to
So,
it.
okay. So first,
March Madness.
well, yeah. Hey, there you go. We
Uh-huh.
could have gone with that. I mean, it was March
We
Madness.
should have.
So, okay.
It is.
Your first pick was Katona Waka. He finished 10-5. So that
Yes.
is 1 point. Atami
That's one
Fuji,
point.
he finished 8-7, I believe.
I believe he just barely over the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8-7. So that's 1 point.
I would have
Shodai,
liked to have seen more out of him, but so it goes.
Shodai, as you already said, 8-7. So
Yep.
you get a point for that. Ura got 6-9, so no points for that.
No points there.
For me, Hoshoyu finished with 11 points or 11 wins, so that's 2 for me. Tamawashi. Uh,
Tamawashi, a little disappointing, but
yeah, 7-8. I mean, he finished well, but
still
just
good.
not enough.
But yeah.
So 0 points for that. Takeru Fuji got the win, so that's 5 points. And then Daisho 0 for losing record. So
I think we need to reassess the point scale here. It sounds like you're just making it up as we go along.
no, we agreed on this.
Did I agree on this?
Yes, you got like months ago when we came up with the scoring system.
No, I think if I'm now that I'm losing, I disagree with it.
Okay, so final score is 7 to me, 3 to you.
Very impressive.
So
Very impressive.
yeah, so you owe me now.
I owe
And
you
it's
big
it's
time.
double or nothing, remember? So it's you owe
I'm in
me
debt. I'm officially in your debt.
you owe me two whatever.
Do
You
somethings.
two something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had more fun watching this one, I think, than I have had in a long time. It was just a really exciting one. Um, yeah, and I think, we talked a little bit about it last time, but it's like we talked a little about this kind of like new era and these new guys coming in and kind of like, now that oh my gosh, that Tenoro Fuji is kind of like the future is unknown for him. Obviously, he was out, so you got a lot of these bigger guys injured, out, not performing as well, and you got these new guys who just skyrocketed and dominated. So I think
Hmm.
I think it's safe to say like officially like the new generation is here, and it's going to be really fascinating to see how these guys do.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, good Basho, good good rest of the year looking in terms of who we have fighting, who's going to be there. Real quick, talking about Jirio, the winner
Oh yeah.
was Mitoryu. So he's been around the block for a while. He's been out of Makuchi for a while. I think, let me see, the last time he was Maegashira was last May.
Mm.
We went 5-10 as M16. So he's been in Jirio since then. Wakataka Kage didn't finish all that strong. He'll be in Juryo again. So he finished 9 and
Hmm.
6 at J10. So he's likely staying down there. Hakuoho only finished 8 and 7 at J13. So two folks we were hoping to see. You know, if Wakataka Kage had gone undefeated, there's a chance he would have bumped up, even though he was J10. But since he's J7 or not J7, sorry, what did I say? J10. Um, he'll bump up, and if he gets a good enough record next time, then hopefully we'll see him in July. Hakuoho, he'll slide up a little bit at 8 and 7. I mean, I'm not going to do the math. Well, I can't do Bounds K math anyway. So
Right.
um, we'll see if he's able to get there by July. If not, hopefully by September. But yeah, we'll see how the Bounds K shakes out.
May is always a big one. Looking forward to that. I will be in Japan in May. I don't know if
Okay.
I'll actually be able to attend any of the fights, but I will be reporting live from
Yeah.
somewhere in Japan, which doesn't really affect this podcast whatsoever.
No.
I will have no inside scoop, except for the fact that I'm
You're in
there.
Japan.
It'll be a weird time. It'll probably be late, maybe late for me, early for you. We'll have to figure
Hmm.
out the time
Yeah.
zones on that one, but
You'll be reading like I've just watched a news report about so and so. Oh, what's the news? Look, I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. Like,
I have no idea. But that'll be fun.
hmm
And yeah, like I said, I think wrapping up, like I said, really excited for this next video. I think it's gonna be a big hit with our audience, and I'm very excited. Sam has not seen the cut yet, and it's shaping up. It's shaping up real well. You're gonna like it.
I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. All wait, let's see how many subscribers we have right now, so I can get the number right. We had 19.
I think
Um,
we hit 20.
oh man, let's see. What 20 subscribers? You're right. So all 20 of you can watch and get excited
Plus
about it.
anyone new coming on,
Yeah,
which will be some new people. I have a feeling this video is going to do well. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So okay, unless you have anything else, Pat.
I think I'm good. Until next time, stay classy, everybody.
Until next time, uh, take care and thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.